Anyone see the news today? Horrible breaking news out of Washington, D.C. today. That the Supreme Court banned interracial friendship? I know. Ridiculous, right? It's like, what are we doing anymore? Like, interracial friendship, they're banning that now? Like, you two, right over there, separate. Whole back table, separate. It's like, what are we even doing? I hate that it has to come from a rando at a comedy club that the government is banning your friendship. But I guess that's where we're at in this country. So, but anyway, anyone ever seventh wheeled a date? 3 couples and you, right there. At that point, I'm like, you're the spare tire of the friend group. But it's like, you're the spare tire of a Jeep Wrangler, so you're like hanging off the back for dear life, and you're not going to be needed ever really, but it still sort of looks weird if you're not there. But yeah, so I go to this hangout, this party, and I immediately realized that I'm the only single guy there, and I was like, oh, pity invite. So I'm sitting there, and then I realized I got 2 options. I can drink, or I could drink a little more. And it's safe to say the only person I talked to that night was Jack Daniels. but I'm not an odd number anymore. I got a girlfriend recently. It's cool. Really cool. Thank you guys. But yeah, that's the reaction all my friends gave me when I told them. They're like, "Oh, congrats, buddy!" And it wasn't like a nice congrats. It was like, "We never thought you'd make it here. Congrats," kind of deal. And it's like. And it was all cool, and so my family started hyping me up too. They're like, "Okay, you got a girlfriend, good for you," and it's, gotta be kidding me. But yeah, so a lot of family events for me this summer. I don't know, just carnivals, cookouts, communions, you name it, it happened. And what always happens when I go to these things, especially after 3 years off with COVID and everything, it's like I went from child to man-child in those 3 years, but I'll go in with my brother, who's 1.5 years older than me, and my parents, and I always get confused for my brother, which it doesn't really bother me that much per se, but my brother's like 6'4" and huge, and it's like, I'm not 6'4", and if you've seen me ever, I've never been taller than him, so I don't really quite understand where that comes from, but it's alright, But what really messes me up at these things, when I just get blindsided by some distant relative or some person that's like a friend of the family, and they like corner you. And the first line they always pull out is, "I remember you from holding you when you were a baby. You were so cute." And I'm like, "Who the hell are you?" and then I take a step back naturally, and then they take another step forward towards me. And then they continue to just talk. So you're one of those people that does that, right? And then they continue to talk at you for like 5 minutes. And it's like all the things you've done over the past few months, but I still don't know who they are, so I can't really do anything about the conversation. And then when I get out of this conversation, I usually go to the person nearest me and I'm like, "Hey, you know who that is over there?" And they're like, "No, I think they just walked in off the street." But so what I realized I needed for these events is I needed like note cards of people's name on people's picture on the front and like information on the back. It's like you look at the picture in the car, you flip it over, you're like, all right, this is Manny Goldstein. Manny Goldstein's a podiatrist, and then in parentheses it says slight foot fetish. And then his son Joshua, who goes to Princeton, also has a slight foot fetish. I guess it runs in the family or something. His wife is Estra, and he lives in Chicago. And in big red letters at the bottom it says, "Do not go near if you're wearing open-toed shoes." And that's the kind of information I need when I go to these parties. I need to know who's going to corner me for 20 minutes, who's going to want to look at my feet, who I'm going to have a nice, pleasant conversation with, and who I can go up to and tell them how cute they were as a baby, and corner them for 20 minutes about what they've done over the past few months. But yeah. So, has anyone traveled this summer at all?
Yeah.
It's been rough out there, and it's like the TSA it's already bad in security, because it's like, I'm sorry you got denied from the police academy. There's nothing I could have done about that. And it's like flights are getting delayed and canceled. But I was over in Europe a few weeks ago, and it's like there's so many little airlines in Europe, and the tickets are like $30-40. It's like really cheap. So I'm on this flight, take off, land, easy, and everyone starts clapping. And And it's like, I'm white, I'm from Ohio, I'm used to that. When the plane lands, people clap. And I didn't realize what I was paying for when I landed because I was the only white person on the plane and everyone else was clapping. I didn't realize I risked my life that bad. So, thank you everyone, have a good night.